perfect. Perfect. I may be exaggerating, but this episode did so many good things, I have to give it praise. Welcome back to another review. Today we're looking at this week's episode of AEW Dynamite. So let's get into it. The show started with the Elite showing up to the arena sporting some new tag team gold, but they were accompanied by the infamous Jack Perry. Now, I wasn't able to give a review of Dynasty, I was busy with college and all, but it was amazing. And probably the biggest story of the entire night was Jack Perry showing up to cost FTR the belts. And I think this is a fantastic move by AEW. Especially from what comes later. I really thought it was a mistake to show the all-in footage. I thought the entire purpose of it was just to throw shade at CM Punk and to grab some quick views, which probably played a part, but it was definitely made to set up this big return. A massive complaint about AEW is the lack of stories, so what they did at Dynasty and this episode was take their biggest real-life story and say, you know what, we're gonna expand upon this into our show. And if you don't know what I mean by that, just wait, it's coming later. And so our first real segment is where I really get personally invested. My absolute favorite group in pro wrestling split up, and it's completely tearing me apart. Trent Beretta drags Orange Cassidy's body to the ring and calls Chuck Taylor out for a confrontation. He basically wants to turn Chuck to the dark side. He starts saying stuff like Orange Cassidy was just supposed to be their mascot and how he doesn't really love them, which breaks my heart. Now, compared to the other guys, Chuck Taylor has always given me, pushover or I'll just follow along vibes. So I was pretty surprised when he just started throwing hands at Trent Beretta and even threatened to fight him in the parking lot. So I'm happy we're getting some passion out of him. But like I said, it sucks to see these guys split up. I hope they make up in the end. Thumbs up. Our first match was an AEW World Championship Eliminator match between our new champion Swerve Strickland and Kyle Fletcher. Swerve did become our very first AEW Black World Champion, so I was kind of expecting Brock Lesnar to come out for a second, but instead we get Kyle Fletcher, who probably has one of the worst records in AEW, so it doesn't make complete sense for him to be in this match. But he's a great wrestler, and it's just an eliminator match, so I think it's okay. I don't know. Sue me. The most notable part about this match was the stomp Swerve gave Fletcher on the ring apron. It looked so brutal. Fletcher got a few shots in as well. I really like this running pile driver he does, but Swerve put it away with his awesome mid-air head kick. I wasn't too sure about Swerve before Dynasty, but I'm completely on board. He's absolutely the man. Thumbs up. Next, we had a match between Anna Jay and the debuting Mina Shirakawa. Now, I had no idea who this girl was going into the match, but I really like her. She was showboating after every impressive thing she did, which if I was a pro wrestler, I would do the exact same thing all the time. The match was completely one-sided in the beginning, with Anna Jay not even landing a hit for the first 3 minutes, but she was able to turn it around with a quick work of the eyes. After that, it was a pretty good back and forth, and it even got pretty technical at the end, but ultimately Mina won with a roll-up. Great match, thumbs up. Then we got into one of the coolest things AEW has done in a long time. It was the first ever casino gauntlet match, where imagine the Royal Rumble, but you win by pinfall. And I complained recently that AEW has too many titles and too many divisions, but at least they're trying, because the winner would be facing Roderick Strong at Double or Nothing for the international title. And it was nice to see so much great talent go for the belt. And this match was stacked. You had Jay White, Will Ospreay, Kyle O'Reilly, Penta, Jay Lethal. So you already know the action's crazy. Oh, and you even had Commander flying everywhere. It was definitely match of the night for me. And it just kept getting so fast-paced and insane right to the end. There was this whole segment between Will Ospreay and Kyle O'Reilly that made me think the only way they could pull this off is if they rehearsed for 30 minutes before the match. They're so crazy. I really hope they have a match soon, which is another reason why this is great. For the wrestlers who didn't win, it's still a great way to, start feuds or just show off some action. Or, just to see Lance Archer go through a table. I really hope we turn this into a reoccurring thing every year and even make it a bigger deal with the presentation. Name the episode of Dynamite after it. And my last thought is that it could really use a countdown clock. I know maybe they're not trying to be too much like the Royal Rumble, but it just adds so much more excitement and it just makes it better. AEW is at its best when it's trying new things, and I think they did a great job here. I give this my first ever 2 thumbs up. No, that's not right. I gave Monday's main event 2 thumbs up. I give this my second ever 2 thumbs up. I'm really excited to see Ospreay versus Roderick Strong. Then we got Chris Jericho. And I think this could have been worse. He's playing into the fact that everyone thinks he's washed up and should retire by claiming he's helping young stars, when in reality he's actually burying them, which I find the potential of being entertaining. I think they can pull this off. I'm not saying they will, but I'm saying I think they could. What they should do is have a bunch of young stars, young compared to Jericho at least, and have them completely devoted to Jericho's teachings. Call them followers of Jericho or something. That actually goes kind of hard. But it has to end with all of them turning on him. That's the only way for him to redeem himself. This whole segment didn't make me feel good, and it also didn't make me feel bad. It's not getting a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So, moving on. And it was time for the main event, which unfortunately fell short for me. This could just be me, but this personally just wasn't the kind of wrestling that I enjoy. Even though I really like both of these guys, and they do entertain me in most of their matches, especially Mox, I just feel like most of this match was, I punch you, you punch me, punch you harder, and then we take a break, and then repeat the process. And that was mostly the entire thing. I'm thinking maybe their styles didn't clash well with each other, but then I also heard Hobs got injured during the match, and that's why it turned out this way. Either way, it's sad to say this, but I think I'm going to give it my first ever thumbs down. I can't believe Jon Moxley was a part of that. But don't worry, what came next absolutely made up for it. The scapegoat Jack Perry was finally back in an AEW ring. And I have no idea if everything from the past few months was planned all along for this, like the ripping of his contract in New Japan or showing the all-in footage, but they're playing it like it all was, which I think is such a great idea. Because like I said in the beginning of the video, they're turning their biggest real-life story into an actual in-show story. Let's just hope from now on they're all on the same page. So Jack Perry is in the ring, and the entire crowd starts singing Cry Me a River. And I know it's only like 2,500 people, but it's still such a good sign that the fans are in on what you're doing. Jack Perry asks Tony Khan to come out to the ring, which he does, so they can make up and settle things. And once Jack Perry gives that hug and a smile, you already know what's going to happen. And it's exactly what we should have done. Perry punches Tony right in the stomach. Now, I know Tony isn't a trained wrestler. Like, obviously he's not going to be the best seller, but someone could have told him that getting punched in the gut doesn't knock you out cold, right? It was pretty goofy, but, that doesn't matter. So the Elite come out, and after contemplating for 2 seconds, they attack Tony Khan as well, with a picture-perfect Meltzer driver. And all together, they leave Tony's body in the ring. 2 thumbs up. Two thumbs up in one video. See, that's never happened before. That's a first. Anyways, that was AEW Dynamite. I really enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day and follow